hey, I wanted to reply to Grace's comment, but also this is part 2 of how I became unwell. Also, did you like my nails done today by lovely Gemma, one of my PAs. But yes, so we went from talking about, well, I was going into the head injury, and then if you click on the next video, it talks about the head injury. So if you haven't watched that video, watch that video. I might go over a few pointers, but we'll start from that point. We'll do a bit of an overcap of the head injury, and then move on to what happened next. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Any questions, let me know in the comments. So, where do I start? So to summarise kind of the head injury, that video, basically I came back from work and I had a small head injury, whacked my head on a glass table, ended up vomiting, unwell, being sick, fainting, increased heart rate, like a searing headache, went to hospital, and they did all the scans and tests, and there wasn't like an internal bleed or anything, but there was like bruising on the brain. You could see it very clearly on the scan, and on my head, literally it was kind of going inward, but yeah, it was just very clear bump. And yes, so I had that, and then to kind of cut a long story short, I went back home, and at this time, just to point out, I was living in a flat. Yay, independence! Me, like 19, thinking I was really independent, but I picked a flat up like 3 flights of stairs. Great at the time. Now after this, not good, because I went home, and I then started passing out more and more, just from like anything. I couldn't even pinpoint a pattern to it. I just kept passing out and fainting, only for a few seconds at a time. I woke up on the floor and I had injuries, honestly, like bruises, head to toe on me. My friends had no idea what was going on. And I was getting more sick, feeling more dizzy, and I was trying to drink as much as I could and eat as much as I could, but it just, nothing seemed to work. It got to the point where I had to bum shuffle up my stairs. Literally, yeah, I literally had to bum shuffle. We actually, one of my good friends, we called her ABP, which is arse bum protector. So when it was raining, so it was winter obviously, she put the coat down, I'd go onto the coat, then she'd lift the coat up, and then I'd go onto the next coat, and to try and keep me from getting a wet bottom basically. So you had to bum shuffle up all the stairs, and I used to make my meals because I didn't want any help, which at the time I should have asked for help, but I was too stubborn to. Don't do that. Anyway, because I didn't ask for help, I used to like make my meal, right, and then I used to put it on the floor and like shuffle, move the tray, shuffle a bit more, move the tray, shuffle. And when my parents came around, they hate me for this now. Not hate me, they were annoyed at the time. Not at the time, later on when they realised what was happening at the time. I answered the door and I said, wait, and then I shuffled to the sofa, got on the sofa, and was like, yeah, come in. And they didn't know that I couldn't walk. Well, I could walk, but I just kept hitting the ground. I was getting so many injuries, I was going to really hurt myself more than what I was already. So yeah, I was kind of pretending I was fine, and I wasn't fine, and this went on for like a month or two. Yeah, and I tried to see the GP. Oh, guess what happened? Can you guess? So I rang up the GP. Yeah, hi. I'd like a book an appointment. I, explained all my symptoms and everything, and I had a phone call with the doctor. Fantastic, right? Oh gosh, I can still remember this. And I explained all my symptoms to this doctor. He seemed understanding at first, and then he said, oh, I think basically it's pseudo fainting. Yep, and he literally said, I think it's just in your head. I think it's just anxiety. Not examine me, not check my heart or lungs, not check my pulse, not done a poor man's tilt table test, which I can go on to later, not done anything. Over the phone, diagnosed me with pseudo fainting, which pseudo is a word that shouldn't be used now in the medical. Willow, babe, that's a table, you can't make a bed. When your dog does the thingy trying to get on the table, she's over here. There we go, you comfy now, from her like watching place. So yeah, sorry, he was saying word pseudo and fainting and not even examine me at all. So yes, that happened. And I said, what am I meant to do? I live at flights of stairs, I'm gonna hurt myself. And he was basically like, not my problem, which was fantastic. Not. So I felt gaslit, not understood, stupid, and it must be all my fault and in my head. So I just carried on, and then I got more injuries, and I can't even explain the injuries. Yeah, now she wants to get down. Sorry, my dog keeps interrupting. Willow, come on then, get down. Get down, that's it. Good girl. Sorry, this is a true video because it will be with lots of ums and ahs, and Willow will interrupt and come on and off as she wants to, but that's just me. Never be anyone but your true self, because you are fabulous just as you are. Little reminder in here. Right, where were we? Like brain fog, Ruth. Oh yes, being gaslit by doctors. That's where we were. Even my friends at the time, I'm not actually friends with them anymore, so it's fine. They sat outside my flat one day, it was a bit warmer, and I heard them talking, and they were saying, oh yeah, it must be in her head, you know, it must be because of the anxiety and everything. She just, you know, literally, yeah, I felt so alone and like I was going insane. And then I was forcing myself to stand up and walk, like it must be in my head, Ruth, it must be, come on, you just need to put more effort in and it'll be fine. One good friend, who's still friends with me now, stayed with me and supported me, and she got me a wheelchair from the Red Cross, which we borrowed, so I could get out and about. And then I ended up basically having a private appointment with someone because I'd done my own kind of investigating research, and I saw POTS and thought maybe that could be me. So I got a blood pressure, one of the blood pressure monitors, checked it. My blood pressure was okay, dropped a little bit, but not majorly. But my heart rate would go from like numbers like 80 or 90 up to, when I stood up, about the highs was like 170, 180. The lowest it would go to would be 140. And often I'd end up on the floor waking up to see it. But sometimes I'd manage to see it before I passed out. But I was just shocked. I thought maybe it's just the results. Maybe it's coincidental. So I did it different times of day, different, you know, standing and sitting. And it still was the same. Always increased that heart rate. Eventually, to cut a long story short, I went to see a private cardiologist because the NHS waiting times were so long. So I went to see him, and he was like, "Yeah, it's because your blood pressure is dropping, so we'll up your blood pressure, and then that'll make everything better." So I started on fludrocortisone, and that did up my blood pressure. You could literally see it on the results. Like it went to 140 systolic, the top number, but the heart rate still the same, still jumping and staying at that high heart rate. Nothing in the heart rate changed. And we checked my mum's heart rate, we checked my friend's heart rate. It wasn't the monitor, it was me. And then I looked at POTS and I wrote loads of info about it. And I went to my next appointment, which was actually with an NHS cardiologist, the one I've been waiting for ages. And when I told him what I thought, I might have POTS, etc., I'd done all this research, he was like, no, I'm the doctor here. And he was like, but I'll examine you just to make sure. He sat me down and he did the poor man's tilt-toe test, which is where you just feel the pulse, like lying and standing, rather than the full tilt-toe test when you're strapped to the table, etc., which comes on later on in the story. And he felt my pulse, and then he stood me up, and then literally his whole expression, I'm not even kidding, went from yeah to, and he like pushed me down as he could see me going quite pale, and he was like, okay, we need to get this and this done, this and this done. And he called in the nurse and he said, right, we need to go for bloods, chest x-ray, I'm gonna start you on this and that. And I was like, wow, like maybe something is wrong with me, maybe I'm not going insane. Obviously I'm not glad, but other people who've been in this position know it's kind of nice to know you're not going insane. And yeah, I then basically got admitted to my local hospital and the cardiac ward there. And I remember me and my friend Laura did a shop in Tesco's beforehand thinking, oh, I'll only be in like a week or two, like months later. But anyway, we went into my local hospital, literally within that week, and I was attached to all the monitoring. So it was on like a high dependency ward. I remember, again, at first, they didn't really believe me when I told them all these symptoms and problems. They're like, yes, we need to see it though, don't we? So obviously, I do my little demo. Let's stand up, Ruth. Well, I sat on the edge of the bed. So lying, I was about, I think, 80, 90. Sat on the edge of the bed, I was like 120, 130, going up. And then I went to stand up, and it went to, I'm not joking, 180. And then I started to go, and they said it went past 200. But then I'd passed out. And also my oxygen levels dropped as well. Yes, so, and he had it on like the little the defib monitor as well, and he sat in front of me and he said, Ruth, in my like 10 years of being here, I've actually never come across someone like you. We have, you know, similar problems, but we can treat them. But the problem is when you're lying down, your heart rate's normal. So if we put you on too many meds, you'll go really bradycardic, low heart rate, but then you need it lowered when you're standing up or just sitting even. And yeah, it was like, what are we going to do with this patient? Dun dun dun! Where's it go from there? Well, stay tuned. Do you want part 3? Let me know. Or is it just me enjoying these little rambles about my life? Anyway, I hope it makes other people feel less alone, and that it's not simple to get a diagnosis, but fight for it. And I hope, because of me, that I'm going to my local hospital, more people are aware of POTS now. Anyway, there's so much more to come. Stay tuned. Let me know if you want any more or questions.